So we just had a preview, or perhaps more of a sneak peek, of the production for the HeroQuest reprint, taking a look at some of the miniatures, the board, the card stock, the components, which I think was an accidental release because the images that I saw were quickly pulled down. And there's a couple of other YouTube videos up there talking about and showing the images, but they've been kind of getting pulled down also. So I think it was an unofficial, well, it was definitely not an official leak. I think maybe Hasbro got a little bit excited with pushing things out to social media, and maybe it was one step ahead. And what's been interesting in this HeroQuest reprint, on a side note, has just been the absolute radio silence regarding where are we in the production pipeline, or what aspects of the game, or what does it even look like? Now, one could say the fact that the Hasbro Pulse was not a Kickstarter. I mean, I've been calling it a Kickstarter type model. Essentially, it was a pre-order type system. They have our money, and at some point we'll get the game. I have been reading that the intention is to release it fully to retail. This will be a retail component and aspect of the game. What you won't get in retail is some of the unlocks, additional figures, and the extra set of dice. Although, with regard to dice and other components, who really knows? So we're jumping into the components themselves. The production quality looks passable. I say passable because just with Hasbro, you never really know. I mean, it is very much like hit or miss. What I was interested in was, of course, the colors. Do they make sense? Are they vibrant enough? Do they kind of pull in that Dungeon Quest, HeroQuest type feel, both with the game board, the artwork, and the components? That looked good. The cards themselves, it was hard to tell the quality, the card stock quality. Are they paper thin? Are they going to just kind of fade away? That's hit or miss. Honestly, I'm probably going to sleeve all the cards, so I'm not so much concerned with that. Certainly the character sheets, hopefully they're printed on some heavy card stock, and naturally there'll be paper character sheets to track yourself through the campaign, so that might not be such a question. The dice look to be engraved. Now, this is the big question. There was a release a couple of months ago with a HeroQuest dungeon crawl card game. It went on Amazon for a little bit. I sat on the fence, got pulled down, got sold out. Doesn't really seem to be anywhere. And the dice were similar to HeroQuest. It was essentially strip away the miniatures and randomize with some cards. They were sticker dice. And sticker dice, Fritz no likey. Sticker dice. Perfect example, Runebound 2nd edition. Love the engraved dice. Runebound 2nd edition, when you move, you roll a bunch of dice that equal terrain characteristics, and then you assemble them to see how far you can move. The Runebound 3rd edition dice, they're stickers. Now, it's nice to have them in color, but the stickers fall off. I have to glue them back. I have to tape them back. I roll the die, one falls off. I don't even know where it went. I am not a fan of sticker dice, but I understand it's cheaper to print out stickers than it is to engrave dice. From that plastic perspective, they look to be engraved. For me, that's big on the wish list. I hope we get engraved dice. The plus side, or the other side on that, is HeroQuest being a locked-in system. Because remember, they haven't changed anything in terms of rules. They're just changing the artwork and some of the miniature presentations because that was influenced by the partnership with Games Workshop. There are lots and lots and lots of third-party engraved HeroQuest dice. I'm probably going to pick a few of those up. I'm going to keep the ones with my classic set. I'm going to pick a few of those up just because I like each player to have their own set of dice that they can utilize. I just find it to be more convenient, and to keep the flow and narrative of the game going. You know, you attack, we try to block, we see what this happens, it's my turn, I move, I attack. It's nice to have that set. The miniatures themselves. Now, what was interesting with the miniatures, they were originally going to be all single color. On the one hand, that kind of blends nicely. Now, based on community feedback, and we knew this at the close of the Pulse Starter, they were going to be printing it based on color coordination of the monsters. So the orcs are going to be green, the heroes are going to be red, throwback to the original HeroQuest. and various other monster classes are going to be colored. I like that idea because it quickly lets you see what the monster classes are. It adds a little bit of flavor and spice to the table, a little bit of color. Now, maybe you're going to paint your own miniatures, or maybe you're not going to paint your own miniatures. That depends on preference and where you are in the hobby. I do prefer color-coded miniatures if you're not going to paint, but the colors are very, very important. If I was going to nitpick the two things, the detail actually looks pretty good. I have to say, the detail looked pretty spot on, pretty solid, close enough, as close as it's going to be to the 3D renders that they showed in the campaign. So if you go back to the campaign page, it looks very, very close. What I did notice, and it might have just been in the picture, the red hero characters, they looked really bright red. And certain colors, they tend to pop and wash out some of the features. Now, in person, we'll see. The dwarf also looked a little out of scale, almost like it was the image of the dwarf, but they upscaled it to be a humanoid or elf-like appearance. It looked a little bit bigger. It looked kind of like a stocky human or an upgraded stocky dwarf human. I don't know if that's true or if that's a production piece. That's the only thing that really caught my appearance, where I think the dwarf should be more kind of classical dwarf-like and not just a stocky humanoid with a beard and an axe. I don't know if they're just trying to be uniform across all the humanoid groups, or if that was just a pre-production piece. Those are the only things that I noticed on the miniatures themselves. And then the big unknown, and this is not going to be a criticism because I enjoy this game a lot, Fireball Island, fantastic game. Love that Restoration is bringing those classics back. But the box itself, you could see the box, but it was obviously a screenshot render of the box. What does that mean? And I bring up Fireball Island because the box was so flimsy. It is the flimsiest box. I understand where they were trying to go with it, but the absolute flimsiest box in my entire collection. So I'm not looking for like a tank top, literally a tank type box like Gloomhaven, but something in the middle road where I can pack in those components, maybe make a custom insert, and it can take that shelfware or that travelware. Because one of the reasons why personally I jumped into the Pulse Starter, Kickstarter, reprint, whatever we're going to call it, was simply because not only do I love HeroQuest, I have two copies of the classic. One is and one that I painted. I wanted to have a playable copy. I wanted to support the initiative and get HeroQuest back out there, being an enthusiast. But I wanted to have a copy that my lack of impulse control and just general board gaming idiosyncrasies, I could bring, I could play. Same reason I have a second copy of Zombicide painted up. You drop the card, someone steps on the miniature, dice go flying across the room, the boards wear out, they're a little bit warped, the box has a cut in it because someone dropped it. You know, this is from playing it every week for years at this point. It's got that battleware, but I'm okay with it. I wanted a copy that HeroQuest I could bring, I could play, we could enjoy, we could have fun, we can build those memories. I'm hoping the box will hold up to it. I'm hoping it's kind of a presentation storage type box and not just a retail box. Have something to hold everything together while it sits on the shelf, but once you buy it, you know, it moves beyond that. That we could not see. All right, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. I mean, I haven't heard any official release date for the Pulse starters. I'm assuming it's going to be, things always get delayed a little bit. I'm assuming it's going to be January, February, March 2022. I almost said 2021 at this point, 2022, somewhere around there with how it moves out. It looks like it's going to be at retail to some level. Down in the comments, if you've seen anything or links to certain videos that might have this leak, I want to be careful and not necessarily post it in my splash screen here or mention it in my vlog, because I certainly don't want to get taken down. I want to keep that conversation going. But it does very much appear, despite the lack of communication, that things are moving ahead and moving forward.